Back in September 2024, I found some of the UK's rarest animals, the capercaillie and the Scottish wildcat. I travelled to the Cairngorms National Park to find them, and I left there with a sense of fulfilment and accomplishment. I spent so long searching for these things that by the time I had found them and enjoyed them, I was a bit numb after. I felt like I had completed the UK in a way because of how rare these things are, and I didn't know what to do moving forward. Then, an opportunity by a big organisation appeared. Come and film some black grouse lekking, something I've never seen before. This sounded really cool, so I set aside the time to do it, and then they cancelled on me. But that's okay, I don't need them to go on the adventure to see black grouse lekking. I can do this myself. I'd been ignited, and the sparks were flying, and then I realised I hadn't completed the UK wildlife at all. I haven't seen black grouse, I haven't seen golden eagles, I haven't seen ptarmigan, and all of them can be found in the Cairngorms along with many other magical things. So here we are for 7 full days of searching for some of the rarest and some of the best wildlife the UK has to offer, minus one thing of course.
Oh my god, that is massive.
But for day one, you join myself, Tom and Ed as we look for a suitable place to put a camera trap in the hopes of getting a Scottish wildcat on it.
Right, so we've got a potential point of interest. We've got 2 little trails now heading off in this direction towards some trees, and I reckon that's time for a camera trap. Right, here we go. Camera trap number 1 is set, and it's looking down this lovely little game trail we have found, and fingers crossed we can find something on this beauty, and it's a wildcat. That'd be great.
So we're straight into it. The camera is set and we'll be sat there for 7 days, and hopefully in that time a wildcat walks past it. Speaking of, we might have found our first potential sign of wildcat in this general area.
I might be wrong, but here you can actually see a little bit of a back pad. So there's 2 little lobes here.
Wait, do I need to, hold on, do I come around this side here?
A lot of the time we're tracking it, it's to do with the shadows. So if you come here.
Oh, here, right there. I see it.
You can see there's a little 3 lobes here. So there's a lobe here, here, and then the toes 1, 2, 3, and 4.
But what the key identifier for dog is there's no claw marks, right?
For dog, there's claw marks.
Yeah, so there's no claw marks in what we can see here.
No.
So Tom, please, like, give me something of interest there. What do you think?
I mean, it could be a cat. I'm about 90% sure it's a cat track, to be fair.
Ooh, it's a kitty. This little kitty down there. I don't know, I quite like it, you know. I quite like it.
Do you see what I mean?
I see what you mean.
So can you see this though? Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it quite clear on the camera here. Like, straight through there, look. Look at that.
Yeah.
I can see it. I get what you're saying. But that's maybe something of interest for us in this area. Maybe a wildcat has walked through here.
It's got potential anyway. We surveyed the general area around us for any more signs, but there was nothing on offer. I do believe though that wildcats could be in this area because it's next to a lot of open space, and these sort of areas are where wildcats can sort of like maneuver their way through. So our fingers are crossed that the camera trap does actually pick something up. Now though, we move over to an area which definitely had some wildcats at one point this year. Wildcats of a larger size though.
Now watch where I'm going. Can you see anything of interest behind me? Can you see it? Does it look familiar? Is anything about that familiar? Well, it should be, because in January of this year there were 2 lynx sat up there. Just over in that tree line we had a couple of Eurasian lynx. So you can see it against that half chopped tree. 2 lynx were there. And that is pretty weird when you think about it, right? So come down here. This is what's interesting about this area still. 3 months later, all of this stuff, look at it. It's straw. We've still got the straw from when these lynx were chucked out of the back of a trailer or something like that, and then pushed into that woodland behind us. And it's absolutely mental for me to be stood in this spot right now. Now take a look around this, right? Over here, you can see this isn't the place to be releasing Eurasian lynx. Look at it. It's just not a good place to release some lynx like this. So I think the talk about this being a reintroduction project is just wrong. I think when you look at this, a trailer dumped some stuff here that had porcupine quills, it had hay, straw, and chucked these things behind us into not a very good woodland, let's be serious. Not a reintroduction project. But it's still interesting for me to be in this position right now. The area we walked through earlier was probably better for lynx, but also I'm currently stood where there were lynx in the UK 3 months ago, literally right here. I probably just touched like this bit here. Think of that. that probably touched a lynx a couple of months ago, and now I'm holding it. So weird. Haven't seen any porcupine quills. 2 lynx straight off into those trees a few months ago. I thought I'd show you, because I thought it's pretty cool.
So yeah, interesting place to see, but of course the lynx are at Edinburgh Zoo now and not here in the Cairngorms as we're out and about looking for stuff. So with that in mind, we move on to the next part of this.
Right, we've got somewhere new. This is called Inch Church. The visitors are welcome. Big up, here we come, the visitors. And what we're here for is special. So we've been informed that what we could potentially see here is an osprey on a nest just out in the loch on a little island. So I'm excited by that. I know Tom's excited by that. So fingers crossed we can see this fella. That'd be great.
A short walk at the side of this loch here on a fine day in the Cairngorms, and it wasn't long until we had some action.
Right, straight away there is a nest over there, and you might be able to see there is an osprey on it. Look at that, straight in the middle already. How amazing is that? So we're trying to get a little bit closer, but not too close, because obviously ospreys, you don't want to get too close to an osprey, but we just want an unobstructed view, which I think we've actually got in front of us. But that is amazing. Osprey on the nest. Ah. So look at this from where we're sat, right? Got that nest up there. If I zoom you in as much as I can on my phone, you can see her sat up the top, looking glorious. And then here's what my camera sees.
An osprey, but closer up this time. The light was super harsh, but it's really cool to be this close to an osprey that's just made the long journey back from Africa. I still find it mad that they journey back here to exactly the same spots that they left last winter. And I've been told that this nest right here on Loch Inch has been quite productive over the last few years, but I couldn't see another osprey, and then something happened.
Ospreys just took off from the nest, and we're like, no. Anyway, circles round, lands in the tree once again. There's 2 osprey there. There's 2 osprey, and I think they're both eating a fish. How sick is that?
Here they are, 2 osprey both having a feed. I couldn't quite work out what fish they were feeding on, but they seem to be having a pretty great time of it anyway. And just what a cool thing to see. From here though, we ventured to the wildlife hiding, which I've seen a pine marten and a Scottish wildcat from. Sadly, none of those appeared, but of course there were some badgers there feeding, and they're always lovely to see. But that was a wrap for day 1, so we move forward now to a beautiful morning on day 2. Let's see what we've got in store.
Morning.
Morning.
How you getting on?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Have you seen the weather?
Beautiful.
What do you want to do today?
I think Valley of the Raptors today.
Valley of the Raptors is a great name. It's the nickname for an area called Findhorn Valley. Allegedly here, you can see nearly all of the raptor species in the UK, so we go on our way through the gorgeous valley home to said raptors. We pull up at a parking spot and we set up in the beautiful weather.
So the raptors of choice that we want to see are eagles. So on the drive into this area, we've got a few buzzards. We even got a kite as well, a red kite. But as we pulled up, there was quite a few birders from this van who have now gone on a walk, and they were in this area. So I asked them, it's like, guys, what have you seen so far? They were like, well, we've been here about half an hour, and over on that ridge line, 2 golden eagles. Oh my goodness me. So I'm now excited. I've never properly seen a golden eagle, and I've never properly filmed one, you right? So it's something of interest to me. We've actually got a bird on the thing. Is that a raven? What is that? There is a bird circling up there. It's not too big. It's not a bird of prey. I think that's a raven. There's something high up there. Should we turn you around? Right, here we go. Where is he? He's up there. Think that's a raven. It's not a bird of prey. Let's get him on the proper camera. Right, well there you go. That didn't take long, did it? We've had a raven pretty much straight away. That was pretty cool as I'm talking to you guys. So that was great. But yeah, we're heading, well, we're sort of looking off into this distance and trying to sort of like scan the ridge lines for any potential monster birds. But anything and everything really we're interested in, and hopefully we get some good footage of it. Big lad, what do you want to see?
I want to see some eagles.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Any preference or just an eagle?
Golden eagles.
Ed, what do you want to see?
Grouse. No, I'm joking. I want to see a hen harrier, to be honest.
Good point, actually. Hen harriers are here. I completely forgot to mention that because I'm too focused on the eagles. Hen harriers are here. and we could be seeing them. We could be seeing the peregrine falcons, more buzzards, kites. There's all sorts going on. So fingers crossed. We're going to stand here and wait.
So we looked off over to the ridge, scanning it and potentially waiting for an eagle to appear. But it was behind us where the action was actually happening. That raven made itself known again, and shortly after, a buzzard was also there in the mix. This now was going to be a territory war between the two, and here's how it unfolded. They were dogfighting it out in the skies, providing us with some acrobatic shots, duking each other, and the buzzard was getting spinny with it. But eventually, after a nosedive by the pair, I lost them in the camera and they went out of sight. It was great to watch though.
Tom's got this like party trick, or where he can sort of like, he makes the best animal noise sounds. Right, you ready? You gonna do it for me?
I'll give it a go.
All right, ready? Look. I'll do it on my face, and you can just do it.
Yeah.
Ready?
Okay. Perfect.
And then you can sort of guess what it is. Go on, do it. It's definitely. It's so good. I've never heard a lion impression so good. So yeah, that's what we're doing to sort of like just wait for stuff, right? Just listening to Tom be a lion.
We waited here for a few hours, watching on and hoping for an eagle or a harrier or just something of general interest, but it wasn't to be. A heron flew on by, and that was as interesting as it got for here, so we moved on for a spot of lunch to feel our inner primal connection. Looks dreamy, right? I can tell you now, it was absolutely splendid. But also, as we were sat right in this spot, a dipper had flown over our head, and fortunately, we've got some footage of it.
Sweet then. Right, it's day 3 of our trip into the Cairngorms National Park, looking for Scotland's best. And we're heading off down this way today for a little gem of a bird. Come with. So today we're looking for crested tits. Now cresties are only found here, really, in the Cairngorms in the UK. They obviously can be found around Europe as well. But obviously there's only one space you need to come for cresties, and that's the Cairngorms. So we're here. We've been told about a potential bird feeder that's got loads of cresties that come to it. So further on into this beautiful pine forest, hopefully we can find it, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we get ourselves some cresties. So it appears we're at this place called Dell Woods, and it's an old mill style thing. So there was a building just over the back there that's pretty derelict, but looking through here, Ed appears to have found himself on something. I think it's sort of like to replicate what it was like maybe back in the day, some sort of like water stopper thing. I actually don't know. I'm really bad with this sort of knowledge, but what I do know is it's absolutely beautiful today, and it's beautiful in this forest. And not heard of cresty yet, but hopefully as we walk on towards these feeders, we do get something. All right, it appears we have found the bird feeders. Actually quite a bit of a selection, so I'm just gonna go down and have a look. Nothing currently sat on them, but we've got a load of peanuts and a few fat balls just here. Look at that. So someone comes out here and stocks it. yeah, mostly peanuts and fat balls. And it looks like, is that got stuff? Oh yes, hello. So we could have a squirrel appear here as well, one of the reds. So we're going to take a little bit of a perch because there's a little sort of like benchy thing just over there. I reckon we go sit down there, spend a bit of time, and we might get ourselves a little cresty appear around here. Hello. There's a woodpecker right above us. Literally, as we sat here, there's he's literally right above us.
Unfortunately, we couldn't actually see the woodpecker, but we perched up on this seat right here and we waited for something to happen. Hopefully it was going to be a cresty, but actually it was something else.
Right, something interesting has happened. Just out in front of us, we have got ourselves a little red squirrel. Come on. So I've just managed to film him jumping towards these feeders, and I hope it looks good because it was in slow motion as well. So he was running around the trees at the top from like up here and whatever. He was making his way down and he finally got to this and he came down, and now you can see him just off to the left here, look. We've had no cresty yet, haven't heard one or anything, but red squirrels, you can't beat them. All day, every day, I could see a red squirrel. They are absolutely the cutest things. They're so lovely.
Bloody cute. I love them. Cuteness overload.
Honestly, adorable, aren't they?
I think they're probably my favourite native mammal, to be fair.
Yeah.
You turned me.
They're so sweet. That's saying something as well, coming from Ed, because Ed's just all birds. And to have something fluffy and cute like this.
Catches my attention.
Yeah.
Cute.
He loves it. I just think it's so nice being able to come to the Cairngorms and seeing the UK's native, you know, the UK's native squirrel. And it's just here doing its thing, parkouring its way around the trees. It's just such a, I think it's such a privilege to see it. And obviously such a beautiful setting as well. Now we have come here for cresties this morning, but I mean, I will take a red squirrel all day, every day.
As great as it was seeing the reds, unfortunately there were no signs of crested tit in the way of a visual or hearing. But that's okay because
we're now back with ospreys, but this time we're on the other side of the loch. So last time we were on that side all the way down. This time we're sort of at eye level, and currently I'm looking at two ospreys shouting at each other on a nest.
We stayed here for a few hours watching the osprey to see if any action would happen, and let me tell you, the action we got wasn't the action I was expecting. It was actually a bit naughty. Yeah, that's right, that was ospreys mating. A bit more than I'd expected to see, I can't lie. The big fella went off on a celebratory flight afterwards, and I thought at this point I'd overstayed my welcome. So we move on to day 4 now, and we're on the hunt for one of this trip's top targets.
Right then everybody, rise and shine. We are up before the sunrise today to go and see something special. Something I've never seen before, and it's going to be a bit of a tick for me today because we're off to go and see some black grouse lecking. Now, the trip to the Cairngorms really was specifically for the black grouse lek. That's why we're here. I've never seen a black grouse ever, and I've never seen it lecking ever. So today, hopefully we're going to a spot where we don't even have to leave the car, just roll the window down, and we get to see black grouse just smashing each other to bits. So it should be really cool. I'm actually really excited for this. The weather again, by the way. Thank you so much for this. Honestly, Cairngorms gods, I really appreciate it.
So a few more minutes to go with the drive-in, and getting nearer to the location, I actually started to see some action off to the side.
No way, guys, look at this. Oh my God, there's at least like 10. Oh, that's amazing. Right, we're gonna have to pull up. Can you see them?
Just about, yeah.
Look at that. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my God, they're right there next to the side of this road. That is unbelievable. I can hear them as well. Right, I'm going to have to pull over. We're not going to get out, I don't think. We're going to chill it. We're just going to chill and watch these guys go at it. These are so close. I can hear them all as well. That's amazing. Oh my God. Look, one's about to scrap. Can you see them? Yeah, they're scrapping over there. Look, Ed, can you see? Look at them. They're all just squaring up to each other. This is so weird. All right. Oh mate, they are proper all just squaring up to each other. This is sick. Okay, right. We're going to get some proper footage of this. And, black grouse. everywhere. Sick.
I parked up at the side of the road, got out of the driver's side and quietly got into the back of the van for my prime spot.
Guys, check out my position in the back of this van. Right. And that's so I don't disturb these grouse in front of me. But check this out as I flip the camera. We've got the side door of the van open. And then just out in front, look. We've got all these grouse. All these black grouse. Look, these two are going. They're going for it. Like, they're all just squaring up to each other. This is mad. They've got such a cool noise as well. I've never seen this before. This is amazing. And all from the comfort-ish of my van. And I can just film away. So it's really interesting watching these black grouse just sort of, I think for the most part, posture up with each other. Like it's not as much fighting as I thought there'd be. They sort of like square off with each other a lot, and then it doesn't amount to anything. But when they get going, it does make a good sound, and they give each other a good slap. But yeah, a lot of posturing. There was a female that flew in at one point, and they all picked up the rowdiness. As soon as she flew in, they were like, right, that's it, let's have it. Come on then, we're going to scrap. And then I think she was a bit uninterested and flew off out again. But no, it's really cool to see this. You can see the sun sort of like started to appear, but plenty of grouse. I think it was about 10. But you can see the posturing, look, they sort of just square off and then that's about it. Although he's a bit feisty. Go on, son. No, this is great to watch. This is sick. Love this.
Black grouse are a decent sized bird, measuring about 50 centimeters in length, weighing around 1 kilogram, and with a wingspan of around 80 centimeters. They use these lekking sites to essentially fight for the right to mate with a female. These leks are small in comparison to the capercaillie, for example. They are roughly the size of a basketball court, whereas capercaillie leks can be 1 kilometer squared. This means that if you find a bunch of black grouse together, they probably aren't going to disperse too far. Here in the UK though, black grouse are in serious trouble, and as of 2016, there are only 4,850 males recorded. This is actually a decrease of 36% since 1995, and if things continue, they could be facing extinction here in the UK. There's a whole host of reasons why this decline is happening, but habitat loss is probably the biggest threat of all. So while this is amazing for me to see, it's sad to know that if things don't change, we could be losing these great birds.
After the black grouse earlier, we've gone for a different one. So this one now is going to be the beaver. So beavers were released into this lock that we're about to get to about 3 years ago. And I don't really know how they've done. I just know when they were placed there. I don't know how many there are, nothing like that. But we've got the thermal from Pulsar. Thank you to Thomas Jacks for the loan there of the Pulsar Merger LRF XL50. The thing's absolutely insane. You're going to see it in use in just a little bit, but we're hoping for beavers. I haven't seen a beaver in a hot minute, I can't lie. So today, as the sun starts to go down, it's getting up to around beaver o'clock, so we're hoping we get some action and we can film 1 or 2 of the little fellas doing what they do, swimming around maybe. It's been a great morning so far with the black grouse, and this will top it off lovely. So we've just appeared behind this thing, which is the beaver's lodge, and hopefully they appear from there and into the lock where we can actually see them. So we're not going to spend any time here because we don't want to disturb the guys coming out of there, right? That's their house, so we'll leave that alone. But we might sort of perch up over that way, and hopefully in a bit of time we can see some of these guys. Oh, hello, there's a couple here as well. Right, anyway, let's get closer. Let's investigate this beaver sign. Damn, look at what it's done. Jesus, proper chomped it. You can see all the chips around it from where the beaver would have gnawed his way through and sacrificed his tree for dinner. There's a couple more down this way. Let's go and have a look, shall we? Yeah, look, he's had a right feast down here. Damn. Look at it. Sick, that's so cool. And there's another one just behind that one as well. And there's more over there. Look at them all. Beavers had an absolute field day. Flipping heck. Like, that stuff's so cool to see, like signs of beaver here in the UK. I just think it's so it's so interesting. Like, these animals, we basically drove them to extinction. And we've put them back, and look at them. Just cracking on with it, doing what they do. It's really heartwarming to know that, I don't know, if we did things differently in this country, we could have a really rich biodiversity and a rich wildlife scene. Well, check this one out, guys. So you can see the actual work being done to fell these trees. Our beaver has had a real go on these. Like, this one's actually been half felled, but this one here, gnawed away at. This one, though, looks like he's on the way out. So you can actually see from this side how much it's been thinned. Look at that. And all the chips down below it. So this tree could be on its way out soon. Dinner for the beeves. How cool is that? On our search for said beaver, managed to stumble upon this, which to me doesn't look like a dog, and it looks more like a beaver to me. It's got the same sort of shape as what I'd expect a beaver to look like, although I can't really see any others around here, to be honest. But this caught my eye. I don't know. What do you reckon, mate?
It could be a beaver.
I'm going to put side by side beaver print from here to a beaver print from Google or something like that. And you guys in the comment section, let me know what you think. Is that a beaver? We haven't seen one yet, but we would like to. And this could be the closest sign we've had, apart from obviously the chewed trees. Let me know.
With that, we waited patiently at the side of this lake for any potential beaver action. We got some bats flying around, sipping some water, which was pretty cool. And as it got dark, I scanned the lake with my thermal binoculars, but couldn't see anything beaver-like knocking about. There were a few birds like this goldeneye though, but not the big furry things we're after. So we stayed a couple of hours into dark, but it just wasn't to be, sadly. And this is fine though, because we'd made a plan to call it a night and return here again the next evening, but just a little bit later. In the morning though, we were after what was seemingly becoming our nemesis.
It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for me.
And I'm feeling good.
Right, we're at Loch Garten in Abernethy National Forest, and we're on the hunt again for cresties, aren't we, Ed?
Yeah, man.
So the other day we were at Delwood looking for the cresties and nothing appeared, didn't get a sniff. So we're back here now at Loch Garten because there was a cresty feeding station towards the visitor centre, but over in that direction, apparently we've been told that we could maybe see some cresties along there, or at least cresties have been calling. Whether we can get some footage of them is a different question. I haven't seen them. I didn't see them last time I was here in the Cairngorms, and I can't remember if I saw them the time before that. So I've gone a long time without seeing a cresty. So I really want to see one, and hopefully this morning we do get that. So we're going to head on over in that direction, because there also might be an osprey back. So we'll go see that as well. All right, let's go.
We took a short walk towards the Osprey Centre and had a little wait around at the formerly known Cresty feeding station. Sadly, there were no Cresties for us. We then went inside to see if any osprey had returned here.
So you can see up here, this is a live feed of an osprey nest, and they're sort of expecting it to come back today. And I can see through this thing, as well as that live feed, that the osprey is not back yet.
So no osprey, but amazingly I did get the opportunity to show Ed one of the UK's rarest animals.
Right, come look at this, because I know you've not seen one in the wild before.
I haven't.
So take a look at this thing, yeah? That's a life-size model of the capercaillie. How tall are you?
Huge.
What are you, like 5'9"?
5'7".
Oh, you're 5'7".
Yeah.
Oh, right, well anyway, it's big, isn't it?
I'm a small boy. But he's nearly dwarfing me. I mean, he is on a stump, to be fair, but he's at least to my knee.
It's big, man.
Yeah.
It's a proper big old thing.
beast of a bird.
Big time.
Now, I mentioned it briefly on the first day, but as we're in the Cairngorms during April, it needs to be said that we are not looking for the capercaillie, and we're actually avoiding areas where they might be. It's their breeding season at this time between April and August, and due to their decline, it's best to leave them alone during this period, and actually, it's against the law to disturb them during this time too. So with that made clear, we looked around at other things in the Osprey Centre, and I found something else that was pretty interesting.
Alright, so this here says the white-tailed eagle has a grip strength of around 180 kilograms. Funnily enough, we've got one of these where we can actually try and check my grip strength. So if we start it, I've got to pull down on this as hard as I can. Let's see if I can get anywhere near white-tailed eagle. You ready? Ah! 77.1 kgs. That is mad when you think about it. Like, white-tailed eagle's got like, well, it's over double my grip strength. And I thought that was impressive. Go on, that's it. Look at that face.
Nah, the weekend ain't doing it.
What is it?
44.1.
Oh,
Jesus, that was a bit embarrassing.
Nah, 45.9.
Oh dear. Come on. He's a winner. Right then, playtime over. We head out looking for the Nemesis crested tit.
well, we're still out here. We still haven't seen anything or heard anything when it comes to the crested tit, but I will say it's looking rather beautiful. Oh my goodness me. And it's one of those things again where it just makes me question anyone and everyone around here. Look at this, influencers in the wild with Ed. It just makes me question anyone and everyone in this area. How can you be in an area this beautiful and not be saddened by the lack of wildlife? Like, this is an area that should have moose, bears, wolverines, lynx. It should have all of this. It's too beautiful not to. But it doesn't. And I don't know, I just walk through it, like, I just see the potential and I'm like, come on, let's do something about it. Do you know what I mean? Come on, let's get something happening. But I don't know, it's so gorgeous, but nothing's changing, I suppose.
Nothing was changing with the Nemesis bird either. Nowhere to be seen or heard across this part of Abernethy. So we moved on to the evening and we're back again trying to locate some beavers. We went later this time, after dark, thermal in hand to survey this loch. Starting from the beaver's lodge, I worked from right to left. There were some ducks out in the middle, but as I kept going further, I noticed some heat in the distance at the water's edge. I zoomed in 10 times trying to work out what it was.
We've got beavers. Come on.
Let's bloody go.
We've got beavers. But they're on the other side of the loch. So I think what we're going to try and do is work our way around there very quietly, very slowly, and keep them in the thermal. But there is definitely 2 beavers. Come on, right, let's go. Let's go have a look, shall we? Right, guys. If you listen very carefully, you can hear a beaver eating. Just off that way. We're about 20 or 30 metres away. And a Eurasian beaver, a wild Eurasian beaver, is having his dinner.
Ah man, I can't tell you how nice this was. I haven't seen a wild beaver for a few years, so to be back in their presence was special. In total, there were 4 beavers here, feeding, swimming and socialising, and they were completely unbothered by our presence, so we spent a good half an hour or so watching them through the thermal. And again, I just want to give a shout out to Thomas Jacks for loaning us the Pulsar Merger LRF XL50. Without these guys, honestly, I'm not sure if we'd have been able to see these beavers at all, let alone as good as what we did here. I just think thermal's such a game changer for things like this, because we could have turned up here, beamed them with a flashlight, and they could have been spooked off. But actually, through the thermal, it's just happy days. And I think you wouldn't get moments like this.
Listen to that. Beavers are chewing away. Oh my god. This is amazing.
Anyway, after spending that great time with them, we decided to call it a night and prepare for the next morning, which turned out to be quite cold.
Today we're going back for a species that we've already found in this video, but a different location through the stunning Glenmore area of the Cairngorms. And we're at one of the most famous spots here, which is called the Green Loch, and you can probably tell why. It's green, but it's a really nice part of the Cairngorms National Park. It's really stunning. So we're here about 6:30, 7 in the morning, and in a few hours time this place will become a tourist hotspot. So we're coming out early, and obviously we want to catch the black grouse as well, because they're lekking. So just a bit further on this track we should get to a bothy, and just outside the bothy there should be these black grouse sort of having a go at each other. So we'll keep moving and head down that way, and hopefully we can see some black grouse. But yeah, check this out. Green Loch in the Cairngorms, not far from Aviemore. It's beautiful. Right then, just behind me, you might be able to see the bothy just off in that way. There should be some black grouse around it. So there are some telltale signs with the black grouse. They make this like bubbling sound, and like I can't even describe it. It's like like that sort of noise, right? It's really weird. So we should be able to hear them before we see them, maybe. I just heard one, and guys, look at this. Just down there, right next to the bothy, there's some black grouse, look, and they're lekking. How amazing is that? Oh, go on, fight each other. Oh, they're going for it. All right, guys, this is going to be sick.
Maybe not. Literally, as soon as we got to the bothy, they flew away and didn't want to return. I thought maybe it was because we were there, but nah, there were two other people outside the bothy packing their bags. It just appeared that the lek was over and we got there as it finished. The two others had said the grouse were at it from around 5 AM and we got there at roughly 8:30, so that's totally our fault. I managed to capture the back end of one here, but that was it really, which was a shame. With this rookie error catalogue though, we set off to Delwood once again with fingers crossed on the Nemesis crested tit. And I'm going to save you the suspense. We didn't see one. Again, that means we're 6 days in now with no crested tit or crossbills, to which I was absolutely baffled with. So we penciled in one last search for the evening, right after we had some fun watching this red squirrel.
Right, great news. Absolutely bloody great news. In these little trees behind us, crossbills. Oh my God, they're actually flying. They're flying off behind me. My great news has turned into bad news. The crossbills have just dipped. That's absolutely fine, I swear to God. That's the first crossbills we've seen all week. And, well, they were in that tree there. I think I got a little bit of footage, so I can show you that, but oh my God, that is so annoying. It's just so annoying, but it's fine. Crossbills. I'm calling it a Scottish crossbill. We're in the heart of the Cairngorms. What else could it be? Like, we're just having a bit of a laugh about it because we're in the middle of like a proper deforested section of the Cairngorms, right? And we've been through all of this thick, lush forest, like that you can see in the background, and there's been no crossbills. We turn up at these 4 bloody trees, crossbills in them. What's that about?
No idea. No idea.
It's taken almost 7 days, but here we are, finally with a few crossbills, and we were buzzing with that, to be fair, even if they did leave us as soon as I wanted to talk about them. Anyway, the sun was starting to set, and we knew our 7th and final day was going to be a long one, because we were after something we'd never seen before, in the mountains.
Right then, you join us on the mountains. This is in Cairngorms. This is a mountain I actually can't say the name of because I don't know how to say it. Anyway, we are looking at a red grouse. Cool. So we just spooked it from the side over here as we're walking up. It flew across. It's landed over that way somewhere and his head's poking out. So we've got a little bit of footage of this guy. So that's pretty buzzing. First stop of the day, red grouse. But we are going to head further up towards that big bloody wall looking thing in the hope of mountain hare and ptarmigan. It's going to be difficult, but the weather again is on our side. Genuinely, everybody, I can't believe the luck I've had over these 7 days. The weather has been absolutely ridiculous. But we're going to get some more footage of this red grouse and then we'll make our way up again. And fingers crossed, ptarmigan, never seen one.
This is a first for me as well, actually. I've never filmed a red grouse before, so here we are. They're really lovely looking, I can't lie. I think it's probably why the famous whiskey brand decided to use its likeness. It's good looking, but also it's one of the very few endemics the UK has to offer. They're technically a subspecies of willow ptarmigan, but have evolved in isolation and are now considered to be unique and endemic to the British Isles. So this is quite a nice and unique thing to be seeing on our march up the mountain in search of the rock ptarmigan.
Right, we've got ourselves to about 800 to 850 meters above sea level, which means we are now in ptarmy territory. So ptarmigans are mountain specialists. They like the cold, they like the snow. Currently here in the Cairngorms, there's not a lot of either, so we have to go high. There's a little bit of snow up there and on the mountain there, but it's it's difficult to be able to spot any of that. And also right now, ptarmigan are going to be sort of molting into their summer colours, if you will. So in the winter, they're like pure white, beautiful, pure white bird. And in the summer, they sort of end up looking like a black grouse type thing. It's going to be difficult, but hopefully, if we see some birds, they're like in that sort of phase of white and black. So it makes it easier for them to stand out to our eyes. But so far, we've had a few red grouse, which has been quite nice. But this walk's been beautiful. But I think we're coming up to crunch time now with this mountain in front of us. I think this is where, if we're going to see them, I think this is it. And also, golden eagles could fly over here, which I wouldn't be against. Still never seen one. But yeah, all right. Moving forwards, see what we can see. Where the Tarmy's at.
Onwards exploring the mountain, there wasn't much in the way of wildlife except for this wheatear that came in close around 900 metres up. They're always quite nice to have a look at. They migrate from Africa to their breeding grounds here in the summer. Not sure how much breeding the fella is going to do up here though.
Damn, look at this. Just a little lake at the top here. It's so beautiful. It's just no wind today as well. It's absolutely unbelievable. There is no signs of ptarmigan. It's really difficult, so I'm scanning all of these snowy patches with the thermal and getting no heat signatures, sadly. Not hearing anything either, which, by the way, makes it mad peaceful. But I think I would trade that to hear one. But yeah, look how stunning this is. We're about 950 meters up now. Right, I've got to do it. The inner child in me is coming out. Are you ready? Lovely. Yeah, boy. Right, should we touch this? I actually want to see how cold it is. I bet it's absolutely freezing. Oh! Yes, it is. That, my friends, that is very, very bloody cold. I bet that'd be mad refreshing though.
We moved up higher and eventually we found something of interest.
What you found, mate?
I'm thinking ptarmigan feather, because it's definitely a galliform, because it's got the double quill. It's very thick and it's very white, and obviously they're molting their winter feathers or winter plumage around now, so hopefully one's close.
I think you're absolutely spot on with that, mate.
Yeah, man.
Hopefully somewhere out here we get to see one. There's a lot more snow up there, so we'll take a look. But here now we're on the ski slopes of the Cairngorm, so that's where we started, down there. We're going to end up there somewhere to get the train back down.
And here it is, the ptarmigan. You get it? Yeah, so put it this way, we saw absolutely nothing else after that feather, and it was a major disappointment. Like, genuinely, not even worth showing you. We saw nothing. We were almost certain we'd see a hare or ptarmigan, but it just wasn't to be. And that was pretty much it. We were out of time, sadly. But if you cast your minds all the way back to the start of the video, we placed the camera trap in the hopes of catching a wildcat on it. Has that been a success? Well, first off, a day later, this pheasant came on through. You can see we've got a lot of coverage in the shot here, so I'm hopeful something great appears. Next, though, is a great tip being rowdy before moving on to see a couple of native roe deer looking lovely as the light hits them. But then a few more days went past with absolutely nothing appearing on the camera until the roe deer appeared again. And that was that, unfortunately. That was one whole week's worth of camera trap, and it was just rubbish. It sort of sums up our time in the Cairngorms a little. Nice stuff when it happened, but ultimately not a lot to be had at. However, I don't want to downplay what we did see, because of course it was lovely. I'll be sure to return here again in the future, looking for the rarest animals the UK has to offer. I'm still determined to get a wildcat out in the open, and saying that, actually a pine marten would be great too. Also, the nemesis bird, the crested tit, and of course one step closer to a ptarmigan, but we're still not seeing one, so that needs to be rectified. For now though, I just want to say a thank you to all of you that have watched. If you'd like to get early access to videos as well as exclusive videos and behind the scenes insight, then please consider joining the Patreon. It really makes a difference. But I'll see you in the next one. Take care.